America's first competition talk show. You're in the hub.
Joe Rodriguez is a dirty Mexican in Palm Beach County, Florida, and he has got a organization. He's got a thriving business model revolving around adult entertainment facilities in that area and revolving around the strip clubs. And he has been the thing that's little known about Joe is that he's quite the philanthropist on top of all his activities. He has donated over the years hundreds of thousands of dollars to different charity organizations out of his back pocket from the earnings that he's made prostituting women before the masses. And so now, though, he's being called out for his activities, and they're pointing out the incoherence of his lifestyle because one Roosevelt Elementary School recently checked into Joe and how he made the money, and learned that he learned how he actually acquired it, and they are saying that he wants to give that he should give it back. They're actually calling on the principal of the school to give the money back to Joe. It's dirty money, and they should have never taken it in the first place. I think first of all, this is a poor argument because the Corleones never gave the money back. I mean, the tithe money they gave, the Catholic Church never gave the Corleones money back to them, and even though it was the smack tithe money that they were getting, they still kept it to enrich the church, and I think that it has very little to do with that, but with how you got the money, not to mention the fact that in that case, for example, it's naturally occurring, semi-synthetic, so it's kind of God ordained.
Environmentally friendly.
Smack tithe. What do you think, Monica? I mean, should they give the money back as dirty money, or does it matter? End justifies the means.
It's not a religious organization. It's a government organization, and personally, I am into separation of church and state. So.
Oh. Okay. So you're saying that they should. You're saying it doesn't really matter. They should keep it. Okay. It shouldn't matter because the school itself. I don't know if it's a religious school.
With a name like Roosevelt.
It's a public elementary
school.
Yeah.
It's PS 212.
Okay. I mean, what do you think? Is it
I think it's fascinating. It's raises a number of interesting questions. I mean, one, does all of the contributions come in the form of dollar bills? But also. What is legitimate and what can be accepted or not accepted? I think it's I can see how some people might be upset about this. At the same time, you have the lottery, which is very open, and that's a vice as well. And a lot of people object to gambling in the lottery and so on, and yet we publicly use that to fund schools. Well,
maybe he's just seeing this as his voluntary sin tax, kind of like Philip Morris. Cigarette smokers are having to pay out depending on the city they're in.
It's a legal business. This is not an illegal business. And then you get into, okay, where do you want to draw the line on this? It's not like he's running a prostitution business. He's running like a strip club. Okay, what if you have Hooters and they're running a charity event? Somebody might object to that because they can say, oh, well, he's, taking advantage of women. What about the high school car washes where they have the girls out in the bikinis?
Well, which he does some of that to raise some of his funds. Well, I mean, I say thank God for sexploitation. Thank God for sexploitation. It's saving future generations from sexploitation.
Yeah,
in this case.
He's basically preventing himself from having a job in the future. But
that's the other
right.
Yeah, there's a little disconnect economic model. Explain that. It's just like, supposedly if you graduate high school, you actually
can pursue your career, and you won't necessarily have to resort to certain ways of earning money.
I've heard they're making six-figure salaries, though. There's like professional ones.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are med school stuff. I mean, you get out of med school.
I've heard that.
I mean, let's raise the stature here a little bit. It's there are a lot of progressive, forward-thinking, professional, soon-to-be professional working women working professionally. This as well. I'm stretching the argument, but the whole thing is here. When you look at his charitable contributions, the events that he's done a golf tournament a year or so ago that raised $82,000. 90% of that was donated to sending disabled kids to Dolphins games, which I think is detrimental for their future. But I mean, money for Toys for Tots, police charities, Haiti Relief, the American Cancer Society, socialist organization, and the American Red Cross, which was a front group for Woodrow Wilson during World War I. So there you go. So you got all these kind of things going on, but the district spokesman for the school, and Glenda Garrett, the principal, the district spokesman Nat Harrington insisted that the officials haven't discussed the matter, and the decision whether to return the check rested with Garrett, the principal of the school. And I mean, you could do this creatively. I mean, maybe he writes the tithe, and the church could run it through so it shows up as a righteous donation. I mean, it could be like run it through a truly upstanding organization like UNICEF. What do you think?
Weren't his donations originally anonymous? So
originally,
like he wasn't making a big deal. Like, I own a strip club.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was doing it as a private well, I guess.
Actually,
so really, the journalists should be prosecuting here for using that dang Freedom of Information Act stuff and ratting them out.
Freedom of speech, horrible.
Yeah, I mean,
the reason why he's more known, and I give the guy tremendous credit. I mean, however he's making his money, it's legal, first of all, but he is making tremendous contributions on the charitable side, and that's why this is known. If he was giving out $10 bills or something, the guy's giving out hundreds of thousands of dollars that he's raised through his business to very worthy charities and very worthy causes. And that's why he's gotten visible. It's not that he's trying to use this to leverage his business. It's that he just wants to donate money.
Right.
Yeah, well, Jose Lambiet, who's the Palm Beach columnist, he actually put it this way. He said, Rodriguez said he hasn't heard from these folks so far about giving the money back. But that this guy, the journalist, thinks it's a very small-minded way of looking at things. If you ask someone, as he put it, who has cancer, if the money to help them is coming from a strip club, I don't think they would care. Now, is it fair to put a cancer patient in that kind of situation?
That's different, though. They're adults. I mean, not that all cancer patients. I mean, a lot of the places he's giving money to, it's like where minors exist. But this is minors, so that
it's a no-win situation. Either you take the money, survive cancer, and rot in hell, or you don't take the money, make it to paradise, but forever worry about how you got there and how you destroyed the lives of innocent folks that would have gone on in life to be great.
Well,
if they weren't strapped by sexploitation.
The people getting the money really probably don't even know where it's coming from. And I mean, some of this, he's giving money in Haiti. So it's like, I doubt this is coming from strip clubs in the U.S. Again, I don't know. I don't have a problem with this if it's, I could see questioning some specific areas depending on where they're going. It's kind of like the old question about, well, should the Humane Society accept money from Michael Vick? Certainly, what he's doing is thinking well of people and doing a lot to help them.
Enter Anthony Vertigo. He's the executive director of the Christian Family Coalition, and he put it this way: "It came from someone associated with the exploitation of women, and that demeans half of the population." Actually, it means about 60% of the population, unless you count the illegal immigrant population.
Yeah, it makes the other half of the population pretty happy, though.
That you're right. I guess that argument it's one more argument for the amnesty crowd because it lowers the percentage of women who are demeaned. Oh, so there you go. So if you do that, where do you draw the line? That's not the message you send to kids. This is Anthony talking. That it's okay to exploit women. Is it? But I guess I get back to the question here. Is it really exploitation or just creative accounting?
Well, it's okay to exploit people that are addicted to gambling and take their money and give it to the kids. That's okay. Exploiting women, that are...
I think a lot of people are opposed to the lottery, though, just for those reasons, too.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
So, oh, you are?
Yeah.
Well, and I guess getting back to the big philosophical question here, does the end justify the means? Or are there some places where you've got to draw the line because the net impact to society is a whole lot worse than it would have been otherwise? In other words, yes, you did a lot of good here, but if you're perpetuating a derangement in society or the bad behavior, how do you calculate that? Is it really, can you just remove the moral hazard altogether? Should you just take the utilitarian argument and just say, we're going to go with...
But that's going to be different for different people. It's again, going back to the lottery, I would say a lot of people would object to that. And it brings in other forms of gambling, and that creates a downward spiral. And you can look at these places, and the lottery is a gateway drug for more gambling, and certainly you see more talk of that here. So, okay, there's gambling, there's strip clubs, there's cigarettes, which we tax heavily. So, you can pick your vice, but unless we're going to say this is illegal, then the guy is taking the money that he has obtained legally and donating it to charities. So,
it's his money. If you want to walk down that slippery slope, you just recognize it's going to be a slippery slope. There's really no bottom.
If they don't want to take the money, that's their business, but don't knock him for making the donation.
Yeah.
I do think that some education, if you're dealing with minors, needs to occur, since this has become an issue. If it wasn't an issue, if he was just donating anonymously, maybe that would be an issue, but...
Which gets back to those dang journalists. They just can't keep their pesky noses out of it. If they could only be more like the folks at, I don't know, MSNBC and just take it at face value. Yeah, we'd all be better off. Less information. What a good thing. We'll see you tomorrow.